नमस्कार, सुप्रभातम। आज दोपहर के समय हम आज अभी हमारे जो श्रृंखला है एस्ट्रोलॉजी का, अकल्ट साइंसेस का, ये हम श्रृंखला आरंभ करने वाले हैं। और हम अभी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं हमारे जो एस्ट्रोलॉजर हैं, हमारे टीम के एस्ट्रोलॉजर श्री विक्रमादित्य महाराज जी। जैसे वे ज्वाइन करते हैं हम तुरंत ही ये श्रृंखला आरंभ कर देंगे। आज हम जो आरंभ करने वाले हैं ये एक नायाब होगा, क्योंकि इसका हम लोग एक सीरीज बनाने वाले हैं। तो क्या क्या करने वाले हैं, सबसे पहले हम आरंभ करने वाले हैं इनसे। पहले तो जनरल प्रेडिक्शंस होंगे, सप्ताह का प्रेडिक्शन होगा, और उसके पश्चात जो सबसे अधिक डरा सहमा जाता है हमारा शनि ग्रह, उस ग्रह के विशेषताएं, उसकी बेनिफिशियल तथा उसके जो असुविधा जनक जो भी मैलिफिक इसकी इफेक्ट्स हैं, उस विषय पर भी आज हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे, सविस्तार चर्चा करेंगे। तो आप सब बताइएगा कि आपको कैसा लग रहा है ये जो सीरीज है, क्योंकि बहुत बारी देखा जाता है कि इसको अंधश्रद्धा के साथ जोड़ा जाता है। ये जो हमारे एस्ट्रोलॉजी है, अकल्ट साइंस है, अभी अगर ये अकल्ट साइंस अब बोला जा रहा है तो वो केवल और केवल इसीलिए क्योंकि वेस्ट में इसकी अभी थोड़ी बहुत रिसर्च हुई है। तो इस कारण अभी लोग धीरे धीरे इस विषय में जानने के लिए थोड़े उत्सुक हैं, परंतु फिर भी इसको इतना सारा मोमेंटम नहीं मिला जिसके ये योग्य है, जिसका ये स्थान है। बार बार जितने भी आप देखेंगे हमारे भारतीय हिंदू विचारधारा या फिर सनातन विचार, जो कि सैकड़ों वर्ष पूर्व ही प्रमाणित किया गया हो, उसके बारे में पुष्टि किया गया हो, बार बार ये शक के घेरे पे आता है, बार बार इसके ऊपर लांछन लगाया जाता है। कहीं ना कहीं हम सब इसमें दोषी हैं, क्योंकि हम अपने विचार, अपनी श्रद्धा, अपने जो ज्ञान है उसके पक्ष पे हम नहीं खड़े रहते हैं और हम चुप्पी साध लेते हैं। हमें लगता है कि यही ठीक है, जबकि ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है, ऐसा कतई नहीं है। हम जब तक इसको नहीं स्वीकारेंगे तब तक यह एक एक तरफा जो नैरेटिव है ये चलता रहेगा। तो हम सबको इसके विषय में ज्ञान होना चाहिए और जितना हो सके हमें इसके विषय में काम करना चाहिए। हमारे एक छोटा सा प्रयास है आप लोगों के इस छोटे से चैनल के माध्यम से कि हम इस विमर्श को आगे बढ़ाएं। यदि हमसे कोई भूल भी होती है तो आप कृपया अपनी फीडबैक दें। यदि ऐसा कोई जानकारी है तो वो हमारे साथ आप साझा करें। हम उसे भी अपने इस आप ही के मंच पे इसको हम प्रकाशित कर देंगे। और यदि इसके विषय में कोई और भी जानकारी हमें प्राप्त हो तो उस विषय पर भी हम बातचीत करेंगे। इस समय हमारा प्रतीक्षा हो रहा है, प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं हम विक्रम जी के लिए। मैं जरा एक बार उनसे संपर्क करके देखती हूँ क्या हुआ है। तकनीकी असुविधाएं तो होती रहती हैं। जी हमारे बीच गुरु जी हैं शंभो महादेवा, पॉलिटिकल जी हैं। हेलो जी, नमस्कार नमस्कार जी। और दिव्य यादव जी हैं, प्रणाम सभी को, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री कृष्ण दिव्या जी। रविवार की दोपहरी है तो हमने सोचा कि आगामी पूरे महीने के लिए हमें प्रिपेयर होना चाहिए कि ये देखिए, बार बार मैं ये बोलूंगी कि जो प्रेडिक्शंस दिए जाते हैं, जिसके बारे में अभी हम चर्चा करेंगे, वो इसलिए नहीं कि हम आपको डराना चाहते हैं या फिर आपको असुविधा हो, ऐसा नहीं है। कारण मात्र इतना ही है कि हम चाहते हैं कि आगामी समय पर जो भी आपका होने वाला है, जिसे हम कहते हैं डिजाइन थिंकिंग, वो डिजाइन थिंकिंग होना चाहिए। आगामी समय पे आपको क्या करना चाहिए, आपके क्या इंक्लिनेशंस होंगे, उस हिसाब से क्या आप अपने कार्यकलाप को थोड़ा सा किंचित फेर बदल करके जो भी एलिमेंट्स हैं उसके साथ साझेदारी रखकर क्या आप उसको थोड़ा सा अपनी ओर और समाज के हित के लिए एक हितैषी भावनाओं के साथ क्या हम उसको मार्ग दिखा सकते हैं, वो हमारा विशेष केंद्र बिंदु रहेगा जी। तो हमारे साथ विक्रम जी जो हैं वो जुड़ चुके हैं और हम अविलंब ही उनको अपने साथ यहाँ पे शामिल कर देते हैं जी।
नमस्ते।
विक्रम जी नमस्कार। नमस्कार,
नमस्ते।
हर हर महादेव जी।
हर हर महादेव।
जी तो विक्रम जी, अ, हमने ऑलरेडी पृष्ठभूमि दे दिए हैं, तो आपसे जब हम बात करते हैं तो हम मात्र आपके जैसे मार्गदर्शन के लिए ही हम मात्र वेट करते हैं। बाकी आप जो बोले हम तो यहाँ पे जैसे छात्र होते हैं वैसे ही हम बैठे हैं। तो कहिए आज आप कौन से विषय लेकर आए हैं। मैंने हालांकि हमारे सभी ऑडियंस को बोल दिया है कि प्रेडिक्शन के पश्चात हम शनि महाराज जी के विषय में भी आज जानकारी आपसे हम लेंगे। तो कृपया आज का कार्यक्रम हम आरंभ करें जी।
Okay.
हरिओम।
Hari Om. So the first I will start with the weekly prediction. Okay. The first, the Mesh Rashi. These people. I will start with Mesh Rashi itself. The Mesh Rashi people have to be careful from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, for 3 days they have to be very careful, and they also have to be careful with their, little about their income also, and they have to be careful while driving on the road and while dealing with financial transactions and while communicating with people. Okay, so this is the biggest risky time for Mesh Rashi people, that is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, and afterwards they can be a little bit relaxed, and especially there will be disputes within the family. There's a high possibility, and especially if they are running a bad dasha, they have to be very careful with their words. Okay, and then Rishabh Rashi people. Rishabh Rashi people, if they are running a good dasha, they are nothing to worry about. But if they are having some bad dashas, they have to be careful in their workplace. And in the second half of the week, that is Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they have to be very careful. They have to be careful while driving on the road, and they have to be careful in each and everything. Okay, during that time, they may have insufficient sleep, so because of this they may feel little bit forgetful and little bit short tempered, so they have to be careful. And then Mithun Rashi people, first week they have to be careful about their father's safety. Okay, and they may have either they may have disputes with their father, or there might be health issues for their father. So if they are running a bad dasha, this will be really serious. Otherwise, if there's a good dasha, nothing to worry about much. Then comes Karka Rashi. These people, they have to be careful in their with their health, with their own health, and they also have to be careful with their children's health, and that too in the first half of the week. Okay, and the second half they need not worry about much. And then and in the second half of the week they should be careful with how they are communicating with their community, they are communicating with their colleagues in the workplace. Okay, there might be some differences of opinion in the workplace, and especially if they are running a bad dasha, it can show up very seriously. Then comes Simha Rashi. For Simha Rashi people, they have to be careful with their father's health. Okay, seriously, and then they have to be careful with their mother's health also. So if they're running a bad dasha, there will be health problems to their parents. Then comes Kanya Rashi. For Kanya Rashi people, they need to be very careful in with their spouse, how they are dealing with their spouse, especially from the second half of the week onwards. Okay, first half there will be problems regarding health. Okay, if they are running a bad dasha, they may have digestive problems. But in the second half of the week onwards, they have to be careful with how they are dealing with their spouse and how they are dealing with other people in general. Okay, so next comes Kanya Rashi people. They have to take care of their own health. If they are running a bad dasha, it will show up very in a serious manner. Otherwise, nothing to worry about. Then comes Vrishik Rashi. For Vrishik Rashi people, in the second half of the week onwards, they have to be very careful about their children's health. In the meantime, they also have to be careful about how they are dealing with other people, like how they are dealing with their spouse also, because if they are running a bad dasha, a malefic dasha, which is malefic in Navamsha, or whichever is planet is badly placed in Navamsha, if they are running those dashas, they will have serious issues with their spouses, especially in the coming second half of the week. Okay, second half of the week onwards, they have to be very careful. Then comes Dhanu Rashi. For Dhanu Rashi people, they have to be careful about mother's health. There might be problems within the family, within the house, due to some disputes or something like that. So they have to be careful about it. And then comes Makar Rashi. For Makar Rashi people, this is quite a good time. I won't say anything seriously bad about it, except that they need to be a little bit careful about their own health and how they are dealing with their friend circle and all those things. Uh, unless it's a very bad dasha, it won't have any serious effect on their friend circle. Okay, so next comes Kumbh Rashi. For Kumbh Rashi people, I won't say. I mean, like they will be a little bit unhappy in the first half. Nothing serious. I'll say. But in the second, I mean, like in the first half of the week, they may have some differences of opinion in the workplace. Okay, that will show up very seriously if they are running a bad dasha. Okay, and then comes Mean Rashi. Mean Rashi people have to be careful till Tuesday. Okay, this is a serious. This is a bad time for Mean Rashi people, and especially in Monday and Tuesday they have to be very careful. They have to be careful while driving on the road, and they have to be careful while dealing with other people. Okay, so this is the prediction for coming week. So main thing is they have to, if they are running a bad dasha, they have to be careful. Serious, I mean, they have to take extra precautions. Otherwise, people would be knowing whether they are running through a good time or bad time. So they can sense whether it's a good dasha or bad dasha. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm.
We now have a guru who
Yes.
is at the backstage.
Mm.
Not able to pull him in. Second. Unable to pull him in. Let's see. Okay. So, with all of the predictions that you are doing, Vikramaditya ji, could you please tell us what is the science behind this? I mean, people generally think that this is superstition and all. So, what would be the basis behind all these calculations?
Um, See, whether it works or not, I mean, you can see that unless, I mean, if you are going into deep research, then you will realize it. Otherwise, if you don't study this and if you try to judge with the predictions of a few astrologers, you may believe it or you may not believe it, because it depends on what kind of astrologers you come across. Okay, if you are coming across some half-baked astrologers, definitely they will give you some wrong predictions, and this is the reason why many people don't believe in astrology. Okay, but one thing I'll tell you, astrology is always right. Only the astrologers make mistakes. Okay, so
Beautiful
just like,
statement.
yes, just like doctors, even the best doctor would come across at least one or two failures in his life. Okay, same way astrologers, even the best astrologer in the world, he is after all a human being, right? So he will come across one or two wrong calculations and predictions. And because one thing I'll tell you, doctors can even if the patient doesn't tell anything, at least the doctors can look at the test results, and they can find out. But for an astrologer, he is totally dependent on the input given by the person. If he gives a wrong time of birth, things can go really wrong, especially people who are born in the middle of the night. They'll say, I was born at 1 a.m in the middle of the night, or 2 a.m in the middle of the night. For usually for such people, it's very difficult to predict accurately, because they give the rounded time. Okay, for example, a person might be born at 1:36 or 1:37. Okay, I'm giving an example. But these people will say, I was born at 1 o'clock, and there's a 35-minute difference. Okay, or if he says, I was born at 2 o'clock, there is a 24-minute difference. So what happens? The lagna in Navamsha, I mean all the divisional charts, it will go totally haywire. And okay, so it will be totally inaccurate. And if I, especially my method, I usually depend on the divisional charts. Okay, actually these divisional charts are the fourth pillars of astrology. Okay, last time I talked about the three pillars. So the divisional charts are the fourth pillars of astrology. And if you are able to read at least at least the first the basic divisional charts, you can easily become a professional astrologer. But the thing is, it's very difficult to get material on divisional
Hmm.
chart. For that, you need to have your basics very strong.
Yes. So that is the reason why, I give this parallel generally, that when we are trying to get ourselves acquainted with any software or
Mm,
any particular application nowadays, even in
mm,
professional courses, it generally gets obsolete in like 4 5 years at max. But this is one vidya which has been going on since thousands of years and will continue for the next thousands of years, which
true,
will help
true.
us to plan our dailies and also our day to day activities in a way that we are able to maneuver through different essential elements inside us and how the entire world is behaving. Because things like the earth, the sun, the moon, all water, all of these act and they react, and we are also made of the same compositions. So obviously we are not immune to all of these effects. So
Right.
it is extremely, we are all connected. And if we think that we should kind of be in sync with nature, and we are in sync with nature, whether we agree with or not, but then elements are certainly in sync with nature. So
Yes, true.
thank you so much for this. I would now like to go to Guruji. I think he wants to share some information and also some pratikar. We would love to hear from him, and thereafter
Yes,
we'll go
yes,
back
yes.
to you and learn a few information, some mandatory information regarding Saturn, its benefic and also its malefic, uh, you know, uh, essential elements also. So let's go to Guru first.
Sorry, I'm extremely sorry. I missed the part here because there was a quick network flux. So, first of all, Shambho Mahadev to everybody. This is your friend Guru. So, regarding, correct me if I'm wrong. You were saying about malefics and benefits of Shani Maharaj. Is that correct?
Actually,
That
I'm
we
going to
will take up.
discuss the general
That
characteristics of Saturn.
that we
Okay.
will take up later, because first of all we will understand what say Saturn Maharaj is and what the composition is, and thereafter we will take up the malefic and the benefic elements. But
Yes.
for you, I would want you to start your portion right now, and thereafter we will go for the next session, the next portion of this session.
Okay. So this week I'm just going to give you a quick, a small mantra, right? So yesterday we had Nursing Jayanti, and I just wanted to share with you all. आप सबसे एक मंत्र आपसे शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. ये है नरसिंह अष्टाक्षरी मंत्र, जिसको लक्ष्मी नरसिंह मंत्र भी बोलते हैं. तो ये है ओम श्रीम लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हाय. मैं दोबारा बताता हूँ, ओम श्रीम लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हाय. तो ये मंत्र का,
Could you please write it down here for the benefit of our audience?
I'll just put it in the private chat if it is fine.
Yes, I shall highlight it. Yes.
Okay. Nrsimhaya. I hope you got it.
Yes, I have.
See, the main benefit of doing a nursing upasana in general, you may have a lot of nursing mantra, and especially this is the mantra which is being given to all grihasthas, or anybody who is in the family life, or who could not do जितना ज्यादा पूजा पाठ नहीं कर सकते ना, तो ये इनके लिए ये दिया हुआ है. सुबह प्रातः स्नान करके सिर्फ नरसिंह मूर्ति का एक चित्र लगा के, वहां पे एक छोटा सा एक दिया लगा के आप इस मंत्र का कम से कम 8 बार या 32 बार, ठीक है, इस मंत्र का जाप करें और अपना काम शुरू करें, तो सब कुछ आपका सफलता पूर्वक ही होगा. विशेषतम जो ऋण के लिए, ऋण से त्रस्त हैं, ऋण से मुक्ति के लिए बहुत कामना करते हैं, वे लोग इसको शनिवार अथवा मंगलवार जितना हो सके उतना जाप करके और नरसिंह मूर्ति के लिए दीपदान करें, तो ऋण से मुक्त होकर वो धनी बनेंगे. ये विशेषतम है, और बहुत कुछ भी महत्वपूर्ण चीजें हैं इस मंत्र से जुड़े. मैं आगे वाला जो हमारा एपिसोड्स में इसका विस्तरण मैं आपको दे दूंगा. दीदी
जी जी, तो मैं ये जरा हाईलाइट कर रही हूँ कि ये दरअसल अगर आपने कभी भी किसी ने ये किया है, अगर आप कोई भी लोन में है या फिर आपका डेट है, तो आप ये कर सकते हैं. ठीक जी. तो इसके साथ साथ आज का जो प्रतिकार है आपको बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से दिया गया. हम सबको पता है कि ऐसे बहुत सारे हमारे बीच ऐसी कुछ अवस्था आ जाती है जिसके कारण कई बारी हमें लोन लेना पड़ता है, हमें इस प्रकार की प्रतिकार भी हमें लेना ही होता है. तो देखिए, मंत्र में बहुत शक्ति है. तो इन सारे मंत्रों का यदि आप जिस प्रकार से बोला गया है ढंग से अगर हम उसका उच्चारण करते, उसका अभ्यास करते हैं, 1-2 दिन नहीं करना है, लगातार डिसिप्लिन सहित करना है, तो आपको अवश्य ही इसका फल मिलेगा. आयशा जी ने एक बहुत सुंदर लिखा है, उग्रम विरम महाविष्णुम जवालतम सर्वतो मुखम नरसिंहम भीषणम भद्रम मृत्युम नमाम्यहम. अरे वाह, ये तो बहुत सुंदर है, बहुत सुंदर.
एक और साइड पॉइंट मैं ऐड कर देता हूँ. ये नरसिंह मंत्र विशेषतम आप पंचमुखी हनुमान में भी देखे होंगे, उनका 5 अलग अलग मुख होंगे. क्या है? हनुमान, वराह, भूवराह, गरुड़ और हयग्रीव, उसके साथ है नरसिंह. तो इसमें हर एक मुख का वर्णन करते हैं ना, जो हनुमान को बल प्राप्ति के लिए और गरुड़ को विष मारण के लिए, या फिर कोई भी रोग हो उसको दूर करने के लिए हयग्रीव महाराज से विद्या प्राप्ति। विशेषतम ये नरसिंह है जिनका उपासना करने से भयभीत दूर हो जाती है, और लक्ष्मी की प्राप्ति के लिए भूवराह ये कहा गया है। लेकिन मेरे अनुभव में नरसिंह परमात्मा तीनों देवों का मिश्रित रूप है। ऐसा है, नरसिंह सहस्रनाम में भी कहा गया है, आनाभो ब्रह्मणा रूपम आगलात वैष्णवम तथा आशीर्षाद रुद्रम ईशानम ततग्रे सर्वतः शिवम। तो कोई भी अगर नरसिंह का अष्टाक्षर मंत्र ये जाप करेंगे और भक्ति पूर्वक, तो नरसिंह सदा उनका रक्षा करेंगे, और वो धर्म की जो रास्ते में, धर्म के पथ में वो सदैव चलते रहेंगे। उनसे कोई भी त्रुटि होने का संभावना नहीं है, क्योंकि उनका रक्षा का दायित्व स्वयं नरसिंह देव ले रहे हैं, और साथ साथ उनका जो कोई भी मनोकामना हो या आर्थिक कामना हो उसके लिए भी माता महालक्ष्मी वो उत्तरदायित्व है। यही मैं बोलना चाहता था।
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपने इतनी सुंदर और महत्वपूर्ण आपने इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे साथ शेयर किया, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हमारे सभी जितने भी दर्शकगण हैं, उनसे निवेदन है कि आप कृपया जो भी दिया गया है, यदि आपके मन में श्रद्धा है तो श्रद्धा पूर्वक आप ये मंत्र पुनः मैं इसको पिन कर देती हूँ, हाईलाइट कर देती हूँ। ओम श्रीम लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हाय, इसका आप जाप करें। श्रीम, हाँ जी श्रीम है। श्रीम का अर्थ है श्री, श्री यानी लक्ष्मी जी। श्री आप ये भी बोल सकते हैं कि पवित्रता का प्रतीक है। तो इसका यदि और कोई ट्रांसलेशन और इसका कोई और मीनिंग यदि गुरु जी देना चाहते हैं तो गुरु कृपया इसका भी आप थोड़ा विश्लेषण दे दें। श्रीम का अर्थ क्या है?
शाक्त विश्व में ऐसा पंच प्रणव माना जाता है, जैसे कि हमारा इसमें प्रणव सिर्फ एक है, ओमकार। ऐसे षण्मथों में शाक्त में पंच प्रणव माना जाता है। उनमें से अति मुख्यतम एक बीज मंत्र है श्रीम, जो लक्ष्मी जी का स्वरूप है। तो जो कोई भी ये मंत्र जाप करेगा तो ऐश्वर्य उनको मिलेगा ही। ऐश्वर्य का मतलब ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ धन की वर्षा होगी, लेकिन ऐश्वर्य का मतलब ये है कि उनको ईश्वर का जो शक्ति है उनको प्राप्त करें। मतलब क्या है, वो कहाँ भी जाएंगे, ये मंत्र जाप जो सदैव करता रहता है, उनको महालक्ष्मी की कृपा मिलेगी, और सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल करने है ना, वही है आम लोगों के लिए एक परेशानी जनक एक चीज है, जो जब सिचुएशन आउट ऑफ हैंड, आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल जाती है ना, ये कतई नहीं होगा। उनके कंट्रोल में, काबू में रख देंगे। कैसा भी सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने में हमारे लिए, हमारा अंदर वो सक्षमता और वो सामर्थ्य आ जाएगी। तो जो कोई भी श्रीम का जाप करेंगे, सिर्फ धन के लिए ही नहीं है, धन तो इनका विशेषतम गुण है, लेकिन ऐश्वर्य भी प्राप्त होगा, जिसका सही अर्थ है कंट्रोलिंग। ईश्वर का जो गुण होता है, ईश्वर का स्वभाव होता है कंट्रोल करना, तो ये भी उनको प्राप्त होगा। तो कोई भी सिचुएशन, विपरीत परिस्थिति को भी वो काबू में लेके आ जाएंगे। दीदी आपका आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
जी जी जी, धन्यवाद धन्यवाद। तो मैं ये कह रही थी कि जैसे हम पढ़ते हैं हमारे स्थित प्रज्ञा योग वाशिष्ठ में भी ये बहुत सुंदर तरीके से, पातंजलि योग सूत्र में भी ये बोला गया है, योगानुशासनम योगश्चित्त वृत्ति निरोधय, इस प्रकार के जो वृत्ति के ऊपर कंट्रोल। तो श्रीम का अर्थ यही होता है कि आप कंट्रोल में रखें स्वयं को, फिर चाहे कैसी भी परिस्थिति क्यों ना हो। इफ यू योर सेंसेस, इफ यू आर अंडर कंट्रोल, देन एवरीथिंग एल्स आउटसाइड इज अंडर योर कंट्रोल। तो श्रीम बेसिकली ब्रिंग्स दैट। और जब हम स्वयं कंट्रोल में रहते हैं तो जनरली वी आर एबल टू मेक गुड डिसीजंस, rational decisions, not only for ourselves but the overall creation. तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद गुरुजी, आप आए और इतने बहुमूल्य ज्ञान हमारे साथ आपने साझा किया। ऐसे ही हम आपके साथ और भी सत्र का अपेक्षा लेते रहेंगे और अगले सप्ताह हमारा तीसरा एपिसोड रहेगा। इसके लिए आपको अभी से ही निमंत्रण दे के रखी हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
शंभो
अब हम
महादेव।
पुनः शंभो महादेव, शंभो महादेव। अब हम पुनः आएंगे हमारे ऑफिशियल एस्ट्रोलॉजर जो है विक्रम जी के पास। नमस्कार।
Namaskar.
So Vikram ji, now we will start with the next portion of our session, of our stream, and this will be particularly dedicated for knowledge on Saturn, planet Saturn, Shani Maharaj. Why we have started with the planet Saturn? Even yesterday we had this very interesting discussion. We would love to hear from you. Yes.
See, main thing is people are more scared about Saturn, okay, and more than any other planet. To tell you the truth, actually, more than Saturn, it is Sun and Moon which influence our life more than any other planet. But people are more scared about Saturn. But of course, we cannot blame them because Saturn is a karaka of grief. Okay, it's called a dukkha karaka. Okay, so it is, and it's also the karma karaka. So what happens?
So I
Whatever
want to
bliss.
interrupt you here. I want to interrupt you here. That's a very interesting thing you said, that more than Saturn, it's the sun and the moon which are actually more powerful and has more effect. Okay, so that is like breaking myth number one.
Yes, definitely. But
Okay,
thing
okay.
is, Saturn is a significator of grief. Okay, natural significator of grief. Okay, to
Okay.
some at any point of time, it has to give you some kind of grief. This is a so people. I mean, people have a good reason in getting scared about Saturn. So we cannot blame them. But we have to give importance to other planets also. Sometimes I have seen in my own experience, Mercury played havoc in my life. Mercury is the weakest planet. It is the smallest planet. Even in the natural list of planetary strength, I have seen what kind of damage Mercury can make. Okay, so each and every planet can give damage in your life. I mean, depending on your individual birth chart. But if you look carefully, if you go deep into astrology, you will find that no planet will give you 100% good or 100% evil. Definitely, all planets give a mixture of good and evil. Okay, if you look only in the main chart, some planets will be known as Yoga Karaka. Yoga Karaka means they will do only good, they will not do anything bad. But the same planet will be a malefic in a divisional chart. Okay, so overall, in your overall life, one planet might be doing good things. For example, if you are born in Sim Rashi, or if you are born in some other Rashi, for Vrishik Rashi, where Guru is the Jiva Karaka. I mean, sorry, of course, it's a Jiva Karaka. It's also the Yoga Karaka. Okay, but the same Guru, the same Jupiter, can be a malefic in some other divisional chart. For example, you have Navamsha, which talks about marriage and personal life and your personal value systems and so many things. And you have Dasamsha, which talks about your career and your status in society. Okay, and you have Drekana, which is your talks about your strength. You have Chaturtamsa, which talks about your property. Then you have Dwadasamsha, which talks about your parents, and Saptamsa, which talks about children. So you have so many divisional charts. In some divisions, at least in one or two divisional charts, the same Jupiter can be a malefic. So what happens? That same Jupiter can be creating problems in that particular area of life. Okay. So if you look at any chart, if you go deep into any chart, you will find that all planets will do both good and bad. So we should not blame a particular planet for troubling us.
Okay,
So
okay. Thank you so much for allaying that fear. So let us delve deep into the Saturn, and let us learn more about it. So you had shared a few slides with me. I would like to share it. I think that will help everyone.
you can add that general, general things like planetary governance, planetary deities, and all those things.
Right.
Yes.
So this one, should we go
Planetary
ahead with
governance.
this one? Yeah. We'll do that. Planetary deities. Yes.
Okay. This is this is a shloka from Parashara. Can you read it if it's possible?
Uh, ब्रह्म यम्बू शिखिजा विष्णु विदोजः शचिकाः द्विज सूर्यदोनं खगाग्नं च देवाग्नेयाः क्रमेण च.
So the meaning is given like Agni, Varuna, Subramanya, Lord Vishnu, and then Indra, Indrani, and what is the last one? Brahma. Brahma, right?
Brahma. Yes.
Yeah. After Indrani, right? Means Shuchi. Okay.
Sachi
So
Devi.
the Sachi Devi. Okay, that is Indrani. So this is the order of the planetary deities starting from Sun to Saturn. Okay, so this is the meaning of the shloka. So here what happens is Parashara Maharishi says that the planetary deity of Shani is Brahma. This will be a very surprising for you. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
Usually we consider Hanuman to be the controlling deity of Shani. Okay. And I've seen that many North Indians they consider Hanuman also as a controlling deity of Mars. But Parashara Maharishi has clearly mentioned that it is Subramanya. Subramanya
Okay.
is Lord Skanda, also known as Lord Kartikeya, who is the other son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
okay, coming back to Saturn, you have to pray to Brahma. Okay, as per the words of Parashar Maharishi, before you do any remedy for Shani, okay, you should before doing any remedy, you should always start with a Ganapati prayer. Okay, but then when you are specifically doing a remedy for Shani, you should start with Ganapati prayer and then you should pray to Brahma. Okay, for example, you can say Om Namo Brahma Devaya. That's the most simplest mantra for Brahma. Om Namo Brahma
Mhm.
Devaya. Or you can say Om Namo Bhagavate Chaturmukaya Vedatmagaya Hiranya Garbhaya Brahmaya Swaha. Okay, this is another mantra. Or if you are unable to remember this, you can say Om Namo Brahma Devaya. Okay,
Om
so
Namo
pray
Brahma Devaya.
Om Namo Brahma Devaya. So praying to Brahma is very useful before doing any remedy for Shani.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll go to the next one.
What is that?
So this one says Ravi Chandro tu Rajano Neta Neyo Dharatmajah Budho Rajakumarascha Sachivo Guru Bhargavo प्रेष्यको रविपुत्रश्च सेना स्वभार्न्युपुश्चकौ एवं क्रमेण वै विप्र Suryadin Chintayate. So the meaning is of royal status are the sun and the moon, while Mars is the army chief. Prince apparent is Mercury. The ministerial planets are Jupiter and Venus. Saturn is a servant. Rahu and Ketu form the planetary army. So I
Yes.
think you have already given the explanation, but yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So here you have to see that Saturn is the planet which is, see, Sun and Moon. It's like the king and queen, and Saturn, it is like the servant. Personal, doing the personal work of household work of Sun and Moon. Okay. So Saturn is always it is a natural significator of servants and employees. If you are a business person, and if you need to have if you are having problems finding employees, who will stick to your organization for a long time, then definitely you should be doing remedies for Saturn, because Saturn refers to employees, your subordinates, people who work under you. Okay. And the psychology of Saturn is also is like a servant. Okay, it will be very obedient, it will follow you. Okay. But there are certain things you should not do to irritate a servant. Okay, so same thing, Shani, same kind of psychology Shani also has. Okay. I'll tell you, like,
So it is basically
usually,
pretty much very presence of mind. You just have to use the presence of mind in order to understand what its elements or what its manifestations would be.
correct.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
even though and some people ask this question, and many people have asked actually, how come Sun is the king and he's a Kshatriya? How can his son Shani be Shudra? I mean the fourth Varna. How is it possible? See, Varna system is based on the type of work you do. It is not the caste system. Okay, when people talk about Manuvad and all those things, they are misleading the people. The main thing is the four Varnas refer to the job description. Okay, for example, if you are working as an employee in an IT company, you are still a Shudra. Okay. So you should not think that fourth Varna is a degraded thing. Okay. And the psychology between Sun and Saturn varies. Okay. Sun is behaves like a royal, while the Saturn behaves like a servant. So this is where the difference of psychology happens. You should look at it in a psychological sense, not like not like in a physical in a physical world or a material world, materialistic outlook. Okay. So
Right, right.
for example, Shani, even though it's a servant, it is obedient, and is ready to do whatever work you give. Even Shani is ready to do even the even the lowly jobs, menial jobs. Okay. And but thing is, Shani doesn't like Sun, because Sun is overconfident and it is proud. Okay, so during Shani Dasha, you should never show pride. You understand? Especially during the Sade Sati. If you are showing your ego and if you are trying to put down other people, Shani will give you punishment in a double dose. Okay, that's because you are doing something which Shani doesn't like. On the other hand, if you are very humble, even though you may be the boss of the company, if you are very humble, Shani will be very kind to you, even though you may be suffering. At the end of the Sade Sati, you will get some kind of a reward indirectly. You may not get it directly, but you may indirectly get some reward which you will realize after many years. Okay, even in the Sunny Dasha also. you should not show ego and try to dominate others. Saturn doesn't like domination. Okay, so I hope you understand the psychological aspect of Saturn.
Right, right. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the third one. So it says, Sarvat Sarvatma cha divanatho manah Kumuda bandhavah Satvam kujo budhe prokto Budho vani pradayakah Devidjo jnana sukhado Bhrugo Bhrugurvoyar Vorya pradayakah ऋषिभिर् ऋषिभिः प्राक्तेनः प्रोक्तश्चाय या सुनुश्च दुःखदः. So the meaning is, the sun is the soul, the moon is the mind, Mars is one's strength, Mercury is a speech giver, while Jupiter confers knowledge and happiness. Venus governs semen, that is potency, while Saturn denotes grief. So the notes say that the degree of benefic effects of the indications mentioned above will be commensurate with the strength of the concerned planet. The rest I won't be able to read because it is covered. So
Okay.
I would request to kindly give literal meaning of this. Yeah.
See, that's what For example, Sun is it gives you confidence, okay, and Jupiter gives you happiness, and Venus gives you potency, and Mars gives you courage. But what does Saturn gives you? It gives you grief, okay. But just don't get too scared, okay. Uh, I'll tell you from what I have seen in my own practice so far. When Saturn gives you grief, it teaches you a lesson. Okay, and I have seen many people whenever they pass through that 7.5 years of Sadesati, they always become wiser than before. They might have suffered a lot, but when they come out of it, they would have learned some very deep lessons of life in a harsh manner. But that lesson, it actually, if you in a long run, it helps you to steer clear of other problems in life. Okay, for example, uh, your whatever grief you are passing through, if you are passing through Sade Sati or Shani Dasha in the very early part of life, you will get some harsh lessons which will guide you to achieve success in later life. Whatever experiences you gained during the during that bad time, it will guide you, and it will motivate you to achieve something very great in life in later. So when Saturn is equated with grief, don't take it in a very negative sense, because it is a strict teacher. You can take it this way. Okay, as they say, diamond becomes a diamond only through going through very so many difficult stages. Okay, otherwise it will be just an ordinary rock. Only after going through a lot of stages, it becomes a real diamond. And same with a gold ore. Gold ore, it looks like an ordinary stone, but after it gets melted, when it goes through fire in the furnace and become, it's melted into a molten lava. I mean, molten gold, and then it is made into a ornament. Then it looks beautiful. So same with how humans are shaped into a form where they will be able to achieve in life. So I hope I have made
Right,
my
right. No, this
feelings
is
clear.
very deep knowledge actually, because most of the time people generally try to avoid, and they feel very, very down. They think that now that Sarasati has come for 7 years, my life is gone. And if it is Shani Mahadasha, then your 19 years are gone. I mean, 19 years is a huge chunk of your life. Okay.
Yes.
So when you say such things, it makes people feel, okay, chalo, we are going to learn something, and let me look at it in a positive way. See, looking at it positively, handling it positively actually changes the entire course of how you feel towards that entire phase. That phase could be a learning experience. You can enrich yourself, and you can also try to alter your thoughts, which will maybe help even correct your prarabdha also to a great extent. So it acts to your karmic balance, and basically because of that only all these dashas come, so that you can we can actually amend our own mistakes, and we can live a better life, and we can have a better thought process. Thank you so much for this empowering explanation. We'll go ahead with the third. Okay, so we did this. Okay, so this is complete. I think we had another set ready.
I will add certain points. Okay, there are certain things which I need to add. Because
Please go ahead.
yes, in my own experience, when the Sadesati and or Shani thing came, I was exposed to certain things where which I was not exposed to earlier. I was insulated earlier. Okay, I I I started looking at certain things which was not visible in a normal time. Okay, um,
Oh,
only going through, only going through some hard times gave me the it changed my path of life, where I started searching for other things that included many things like Ayurveda and astrology and all those things. So that was the time I started appreciating the ancient knowledge. Before that, I was an atheist. You won't believe it. I was an atheist. I never believed in astrologies while I was a student. But
and
today
by
I'm
the
an
way, for all of us, all the audience and everyone, Shri Vikramaditya ji is an engineer, and he has also done his MBA. And thereafter, he's also gone to occult science, and he's right now a very renowned astrologer. And I would request Vikramaditya ji to kindly share his email ID, and we will share the email ID even in the description box. If you want to take private consultations with him, please feel free to do so, because he gives you not only one kind of deductions and deducements, he would use every sort so that he gets as accurate as possible, and he will be giving you predictions. He will be talking about things that have happened within a time frame of like 15 days. In these 7 days you must have experienced this, in these 2 days you must have experienced this. So this is your accurate prediction, and this is how it is going to happen. So please take these pratikars. This particular mantra will help you channelize your thoughts, maybe get more clarity. So this kind of private consultations you can get from Vikramaditya ji. I will certainly share his email ID. Vikramaditya ji, if you could just share your email ID right away, I will type it
Yes.
immediately. Yes, yes.
Okay. It is
This will be of great help actually.
Yes, yes. It is
Yes.
Navagrah Astro Vikram at gmail.com. It is NAVA.
Let me just type it. Yeah. NAVA Navagraha GRAHA
GRAHASTRO
STRO
VIKRAM
Vikram.
at gmail.com.
Okay, let me just reconfirm it with you. It is Navagraha, NAVAGRAHA, then Astro. Instead of another A, you have simply given one A and then STRO Vikram @gmail.com. Am I right?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay, I'll just highlight this just in case it is correct. Do check it and do confirm.
Yes, yes, correct.
Yes. Okay, great, great. So we'll go back to where we were. And I got one question from one of our viewers that was very interesting. Vedin has written, Vedin Gera, he has written, what if you don't learn your lessons? I mean, through Saturn Mahadasha or your Saturn, Sade Sati. at that point in time, what if you do not learn your lessons? Then what?
You will go through the same problems. Okay. See, when you are going through a problems, what it actually happens is that circumstances that whatever horrible circumstances you are passing through, it will force you to introspect. It will force you to analyze the past events, why it all happened. You will try to go into the roots. Okay, that's a human psychology. Okay, something is going wrong and it's going out of control. Someday or other, you will be thinking, why is it first you will be thinking, why is it happening only to me? Okay, then you will start thinking, why is it not happening to others? Then you will start going to the past, like how did it start, why did it start, what was my role in getting into this problem. Then your mind will start thinking, how can I avoid it? Okay, and these thoughts, when you go, people always go deep into such thoughts. And when you start analyzing deeply, you won't get your answers immediately, but within few months you will start searching for answers. Okay, how can I avoid this problem, how can I get out of this problem, how can I avoid it in future? Okay, you will try to research on it, you will try to talk to the experts. When you do these kind of deep research,
Basically, that
you
person
will
will start introspecting. Basically, the person will
yes.
start introspecting. Yeah.
Then at one point of time you will get to understand it. Okay, so what happens, uh, the hardships whatever you pass through, it is forcing you to analyze it. Otherwise, if you're just imagine, if you're not suffering, you won't even want to think about what other people are suffering for. Okay, you do see, if you are in a happy mood, most of us, I mean majority of us, we will not want to look at people who are suffering. Okay, that is a majority psychology. And when you are like that, how will you learn your lesson? Okay, and I'll tell you this, whatever lessons, if you are learning in early stage of life, okay, the earlier you learn, the better you'll succeed. Okay, better chances of succeeding in life. Okay, and I'll tell you, I know one very renowned writer. Okay, he had a very difficult career. Okay, like he wanted to be a writer, so he joined a newspaper company as a journalist. But one day the editor called that reporter and he said, hey, listen, you're not very good in this, why don't you resign? And he resigned his job. Then he started trying other fields. At one point he tried to become a assistant a writer and assistant director in Hollywood. He was like that for 2 years. Then he was working as a construction worker in somewhere in I think Greece or Spain, somewhere in Europe. Okay, then he tried his work, I mean tried to work as a hotelier. Everything failed, everything. Okay, and then one day he was talking to a friend who is a publisher, and he was talking. They were talking about human psychology, and that time he was telling, "Hey, you know what? Wherever I worked, I saw a lot of politics in office and a lot of politics in the workplace. But then, and he was explaining it, like how people play politics in workplace. That time, that friend who was a publisher, he said, "Hey, why don't you write a book on this?" And he thought, okay, I'll write a book on this, but will it work? That friend, that publisher friend said, okay, just write it, I'll publish it, let's see. If it goes well, we'll you start writing other books. And that book became a big success, and it is called the 48 Laws of Power. And the very first book was a success. Where did he get that material for all that I mean, where did he get that material for that book? From his past failures. So this is what I'm saying.
See,
If you will learn your lesson, but if you learn it early, then it's good. See, that's the reason
exactly.
why Saturn does not want you to be egoistic. If you are egoistic, your ego will prevent you from learning your lesson. Okay, so
Hmm.
be humble, Saturn will teach you faster. You will learn from Saturn very faster, and Saturn will also give you the opportunity as early as possible. Okay, the main thing to remember is if you are passing through Sade Sati or if you are passing through Saturn Dasha, be humble. Okay, so that's a lesson which you need to follow when you are passing through a Saturn Dasha or a Sade Sati. Don't have ego, just be humble, keep an open mind. That's enough. Saturn will take care of the rest. He will give you less problems, and he will guide you as early as possible.
Great, great. Thank you so much for this beautiful explanation. You're almost making Saturn look like some philosopher guide who will sort of steer your life's direction in the right way. And one thing is that if at all we do not learn our lessons, our souls, the Atma is the Brahma Tattva, right? We are the Atma. So Atma is extremely intelligent. If this
Yes.
Sthula Sharir does not understand or is not mending its way, the Sukshma Sharir will ensure that maybe not in this birth, maybe in the next birth, maybe in the times to come, it will certainly learn its lessons. So better now than later or then never. So
Yeah.
this otherwise
Yeah.
this keeps going on and on.
And in psychology, there is a term called cognitive dissonance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
Okay.
what happens is if something is not, see, you learn something and you know something, but you are doing something which is not in accordance with that knowledge. Okay, your mind will be little bit disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they call it a cognitive dissonance in psychology. So what
Okay.
happens is, for example, if you are a chain smoker and you are coming across doctors and scientists who say no, no, you will get cancer if you continue your smoking. But what happens is your mind will actually feel very uncomfortable. Okay, you will feel very uncomfortable. See, you have an inbuilt mechanism to reform yourself, but here what plays a spoiled sport is the ego, and ego doesn't want to accept it. Okay, so people, what they do, they look at people, their own peers, okay, same age group people, like early smokers, and they'll say, oh, these people are all healthy and normal. These people are healthy, they are athletic and strong, even though they are smoking. Why should I worry about it? Look, I am looking at so many people, so I don't want to reform. So they are what they do is they try to escape that discomfort, that mental discomfort, by trying to find a logic which will support their wrong activity. Okay, so this behavior is this mechanism is called cognitive dissonance in psychology.
Great,
If you
great.
are
Thank you
if you
so
are
much.
open, and if you are without ego, you will accept your mistake. Okay, so this is why I'm telling you, Saturn doesn't like ego. When you deal with Saturn, you have to just get rid of your ego. Okay.
Right, right, right. So basically, Saturn teaches us to be humble. Saturn is not at all malefic the way it has been made out to be, to appear. And it basically teaches you, it's like the hard taskmaster,
Yes.
okay, that you have to learn your lessons until you do not, Saturn also does not give up. So it's
Yes.
almost like that. And if in case that entire time frame of you learning passes away, goes away, then maybe in the next time whenever you appear on this earth, it will come along with it because you are yet to learn your lesson. So it will not leave you. So that is how we understand. And of course, I mean, if there is a chance for you to make amends, if you can look within and you can make certain changes in yourself, if you can take up some techniques which will enrich your life and your family's life, because at the end of the day, by the time it is said, I don't know how much of it is true, Vikramji, because I have heard that by the time Saturn leaves, when it goes, either it is extremely heightened And even though it is heightened, it leaves with a lot of gifts for you, and good ones. I mean, you are going to cherish it. It makes you really wealthy. Real Shri comes to you when it goes, because by the time it leaves, it ensures that you are now laden with a lot of knowledge. And I mean, in terms of not only material wealth, but also in terms of spiritual wealth and well being, overall well being. So, what is your commentary? With that, we shall end our show with your final comments.
Thing is, yes, it does leave you with rewards, but you should be, you should be open-minded to realize that it is a reward. It will be indirect reward. It's not going to give you come in front of you and give it a parcel. Hey, this is your gift. No, it's not going to happen. It will leave you in a position where you will be having things which you would be taking for granted. Actually, many people, I won't say at least half, at least half the people would be realizing, okay, at least we are left with this and this, which is our blessings from God. Okay, so we should take care of it. This kind of lesson Saturn gives, and and as I told you, Saturn will expose you to certain things which have been hidden by the society. Okay, see, the people around you, they mold you from a very young age to be a certain type of person. Okay, you might be brainwashed, and most of the time it happens. Many of us, we are always brought up in a certain with certain teachings and certain things in mind. Certain things are put into our mind. Okay, so what happens when Saturn starts its play in a Sade Sati or in a Saturn Dasha? It will bring circumstances in such a way where you will be opening your eyes. Oh my God, certain things are there which I never realized so far. Okay, it is like suddenly it will be opening a new window to something, the other part of life. Okay, the other part of society, the other part of life. That time, and actually, for many people, it is like opening a new avenue in life. It will actually, they'll be starting a new career. For example, me, somewhere where they'll be identifying, where they'll get emotionally attached. Oh my God, this is something I love. Okay, uh, so so Saturn is apart from being a teacher, it opens your world to uh, a new whole world which has been hidden from you so far. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I would like to take this question. It's a very interesting question. I think it pops up in many of our people's minds. It is like,
Mm.
I also don't believe in astrology. Actually, it is complicated, he says. I kind of believe in astrology, but I don't believe in astrologers, as there are too many fraudsters out there. So, yes, I totally agree with you, Karlji, and that is precisely the reason why we have brought in our official astrologer here, so that people are not duped. See, in the name of Saturn, people are always duped. There's a lot of insecurity that is actually ingested there. It is injected into our minds that well, if it is Saturn, then do this, do that. You nothing is going well, so that you go back to that astrologer, you go back to those people over and over again, and it is basically for them, it is just your money. But yeah, in this long run, they have eroded away that authenticity and ingenuity, and they have taken up a huge chunk of what the ancient wisdom has been. So what we are doing via our channel is trying to reinstate the reality of astrology and the real gems of wisdom, so that it reaches out to everyone. If you continue, I can assure you of one thing, that if you continue watching this series as we go along, in maybe in another 3 4 episodes, you will have that mastery, you will have understanding as to what the actual predictions or what kind of charts are actually there, so that tomorrow, if at all anybody tries to rattle you or put you off guard or catch you in some vulnerable position, at that point in time you can actually come back and you can use your own knowledge. we want everyone to have that basic knowledge, so that we do not say that astrology, Vedic astrology, is basically andhashraddha, it is basically superstition. It is not. There's a science behind this. Only thing is how you are going to doing the calculation. Calculator is the same. What kind of formula you are using, that is the entire case here. And also the interpretation. If anybody says that अरे तुमको यहाँ पे accident होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा, that could be one. There could also another be, which one is like the subtle things that could happen to you. So how can you then do the pratikar? And also there are different indications. As I said, Vikramaditya Acharya ji is actually, he is armed with different branches of astrology. So what he does is, whatever is suitable, most suited to you, to your kundali, to your elements, the way you interpret things, that is how things are actually interpreted. So I would again suggest that whosoever wants to take a personal counseling with him, please have a word with him. And I think we can only cover this much in 1 hour stream. We have already overridden the time, but yeah, we would be continuing with this series. And Kalji says, thank you, Gayatri ma'am, for taking my doubt and my question. No, please, thank you so much for this, for even watching, for giving us your time. This is your channel. So every word of yours will find expression here. Please do share, like, and subscribe to our video, to this particular channel, and also ensure that your friends also come along, so that they are also not, taken astray. Their vulnerabilities are not taken advantage of. We don't want that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. And towards the end, as we always say, that we are currently manufacturing, in fact we are building one Gaushala right now. It is being built, so we would require any help, anything, any assistance, because for Gaushala Nirman, there is an entire process. So we would request any amount that you can kindly contribute, please contribute for the Gaushala Nirman at the below mentioned details, which is actually being highlighted in the band. So with this, we proceed towards the end. I thank Swamiji, I thank Acharya ji, I also thank Guruji and my lovely audience. We will meet again next week at the same time, 2 o'clock p.m. And thereafter, we shall take it forward every day. We also give you daily predictions. From tomorrow onwards, there will be daily predictions also. So thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Enjoy your weekend. Be good to your parents and listen to your elders. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Jai Shri Krishna. Har Har Mahadev. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Har Har
धन्यवाद.
Mahadev.